Hey everyone, today I want to talk about some of the mistakes that I made in my past and just a lot of things that people want me to address, so I'm going to address them. I did make a couple of apologies on Twitter, and I talked about it on Twitter sometimes to clear up some misinformation or when people would bring it up on my Twitch, but I never made a video talking about it in its entirety, so I just wanted to make this video, so let's just talk about it. There's obviously several topics that I need to talk about, and I do not want to gloss over any of them, so sorry if the video is a little long. I promise I'm getting to everything. First, let's go over my language in the past. Around 6 years ago, 2014 and earlier, I used to say slurs and bigoted language significantly too casually. It is not okay. It was never okay. I should have never said those type of things, and I am genuinely sorry that I ever did. There were racial slurs, there were homophobic slurs, there were words referencing sexual assault, and none of that is ever okay, was ever okay, and I should have never been a part of that. This is what's been shown in the old Smashboards posts and also the clips from Nakat's stream. It was never funny. I should have never thought it was funny or cool or anything like that. The words are hurtful and damaging, and regardless of context, things like this are not okay, especially as a straight white man. After a couple years of acting like an idiot, I thankfully had friends talk to me about why my language was hurtful, why it was bad, and why it is not okay, and there's no nuance to this, especially as a straight white man, to use racial slurs. It's not okay. And I'm incredibly thankful for the people that I have in my life and had in my life to help me grow as a person. Not only do I have people in my life like my fiance who will call me on my shit if I'm being an asshole, but also, my followers have called me out for doing something wrong or for getting information wrong, and I'm appreciative to everyone. What I did was not okay, and there is no real excuse for it. I am genuinely sorry for the language that I used, for the ignorance that I used to spout online, and for the hurt that I've caused many people. People have said that me not talking about this preemptively before things were unearthed, is me trying to hide my past, and I don't really agree with that. On my Twitch, anytime a topic of race has come up, I have used myself and my past and talked about my use of slurs and bigoted language to kind of help people understand that you can, learn from it, and that ignorance is something you can, grow out of. It obviously wasn't okay and is not okay, and I now try to give that wisdom to the people in my stream that come there. But, you are right, I could have been more proactive in talking about it on my other social media platforms, and I do want to be better about that moving forward, so for that, I am sorry. I used to think stuff like that was okay and that it was normal, but it should never be okay and it should never be normalized for anyone, especially me, again, as a straight white man. It's not okay. And please, if you are not part of a group directly affected by the bigoted language that I used, do not accept my apology on their behalf. The language is indefensible, so I do not want any defense for it. It is not okay, it will never be okay, and people pretending like it's not a big deal, are wrong. It is a big deal, and this is why I'm addressing it. People can form their own opinions of me or if I've grown or if I've changed, but it is not, white people's job to forgive me for saying the N-word, and it's not straight people's job to forgive me for saying a homophobic slur. It's not. I've also been accused of being a hypocrite for various reasons, one of which being the fact that I use my platform to amplify the voices of victims and trying to hold abusers accountable. This is an incredibly important thing to me. It is something I will not really compromise on, but in the event that I do get things wrong, I do need to clarify information I share the other side, and apologize if I made a public call-out post. This is in reference to the MJG Info situations, where of course there were separate situations, but I did do the same thing where I shared the alleged stories against them and then did not share anything on the other side, and I never publicly clarified. So to MJG Info specifically, I want to apologize for the hurt that I caused, for the damage that I caused to your reputation, and just never doing the right thing in these cases. While I did remove those retweets and deleted anything that grouped them in with other abusers, I should have definitely clarified more information and retweeted the things on the other side and publicly apologized, considering it took so long for me to clarify anything. That would have been the right thing to do, and I did not do that, and I'm sorry. However, this doesn't mean that I'm going to stop standing up for victims and sharing their stories. That is something that is very important to me, especially with the climate in gaming and how victims are treated. It is very important to me that I still share those stories. I will continue to amplify victims' voices, and I encourage others to do the same, but I will be more diligent in offering clarification to situations when it is relevant. Another point that people bring up to say that I'm a hypocrite is the fact that I try to cancel people for using the language that I also used in the past without allowing them a chance to grow. A lot of this is in reference to Bochi and Stroder, and so I want to talk about them real quick. I looked through all of my tweets and replies from 2 months before the screenshots surfaced of them to 2 months after, and I could not find a single instance of me using my platform to attack them or deplatform them or cancel them. While I encourage people to call me out if I'm being inconsistent or unfair, in this situation, it's simply just not true. You know, in reality, I messaged Stroder once I saw him tweet very sad things on his main, and I wanted to make sure that he was okay, and so I talked to him about the situation, about how to deal with internet hate, about how to deal with harassment, and, acknowledging that, he can grow from it. I used myself as an example in the fact that, I've received hate for various things, and I don't want anyone to be ignorant the way I was, so I definitely wanted to help him in that regard. Because I've had people call me out currently and also in the past, I've been able to learn why what I did was wrong, and I want to be that person for others, I do want to acknowledge that while it wasn't about race, I did call Bochi out publicly for being really dismissive and disrespectful to the European Smash scene. Even if I did disagree with her tweet, it was irresponsible of me to draw so much negative attention to her, especially with all the other flack she was getting at the time. What I will acknowledge is wrong in both of these cases is the fact that they are kids, and I should not be using my Twitter platform of over 150,000 people to direct any hate or harassment towards them or just any kids in general. This is also related to what happened with High9x9 Gaming, where someone made a fake Discord of him trying to impersonate him and went around messaging people a bunch of slurs. And, I saw a tweet about that after it had about 700 likes, and I retweeted it and immediately went to sleep. I woke up, saw people were like, hey, this is fake. I saw High9's tweet itself, so I deleted it. I privately apologized to him, and then I made a clarification tweet. But I understand that that tweet was actually like, hey, don't do bad thing, and then sorry, as opposed to a dedicated apology tweet to him that's kind of separate from that. Looking back, I do understand why people were upset with that, and while I did delete the tweet, I could have been more diligent and making a more standalone tweet. I think it is completely reasonable to want people in the Smash scene or otherwise to be better, but I misuse my platform in these instances, and I am sorry for that. I want to be better about it moving forward and making sure that I, go into situations, especially involving kids, with a lot more tact and a lot more nuance, because that is what it deserves. Along with those 3 instances, people have mentioned my strong oppositions to what Wishes said with his homophobic slurs on his stream at the beginning of quarantine. I called it out publicly saying, and I quote, "No-name Smash players are transphobic, racist, homophobic. It's just Twitch chat, Twitter, Reddit. Top Smash players transphobic, racist, homophobic. Stop generalizing the community. We have to be better and not allow this stuff. I remember talking to Wishes at Big House and explaining to him the severity of what he does. He said he'd try to be better. Obviously, nothing really changed. If he's your friend, you should be giving him flack and holding him responsible. If you're defending him, you're pathetic." Let me be clear, it is not okay to use this language, and transphobia, racism, homophobia, or any other bigotry has no place in the Smash scene. The reason the Wishes case in particular got under my skin is because I talked to him and he seemed receptive of it, and then several months later it just apparently didn't matter. That's why I tweeted about him in particular instead of being more vague and talking about the issues kind of generally. People have mentioned that this is hypocritical because I'm not giving them the chance to grow, and you can see that I did reference small bans or larger bans in the tweets, but I don't think that having consequences for some actions like that is a bad thing. I think that if you're not going to listen to people and kind of take what they say and try to grow and learn from it, that consequences are an apt way to kind of be like, oh, this is actually wrong, people are actually mad about this, instead of just your friends talking to you about it. So in cases similar to these, I think it is valid if someone is actively not learning and not changing problematic behavior to actually give them consequences of a 3-month ban or something like that from locals. I don't think that that is banishing them forever. I don't think that means they are unsalvageable and terrible people for forever. That's just not true. But it does mean that actions and words like that are problematic and do need to change, and if you won't listen to people, maybe you'll listen to consequence. Changing your language and understanding why your actions harm others, I think, is a teachable moment that people can learn and grow from, just as I have. I think it is fair to be aware of what people said in their past, whether it be a recent past or a long ago past, because everyone should have as much information as possible, whether they want to like someone or judge someone. I think that's fair. I want to encourage this community to be better, and will try to say to others what people said to me when I was being a headass and problematic. However, I do want to clarify that this opportunity of growing within the scene does not extend to abuse, harming the safety of others, sexual misconduct, child grooming, or other such dangerous activities. Unfortunately, we've seen quite a bit of this in the past couple of months, and they require a different level of repercussions. So I just wanted to make that super clear. Finally, I know there's a situation in the Brawl Days that people want me to talk about where I repeated rumors that I heard from others, but the victim in this case wants the situation to go away, so while I do apologize for contributing to that and potentially hurting them more, I don't really want to talk about it more than this because I want to respect the wishes of the victim. I do not believe that I'm a perfect person. Not even close. I've made a lot of mistakes that I'm continuously trying to learn from and grow and be better. The things that I said in the past are disgusting, and I'm genuinely sorry that I said such hurtful things. If you were hurt, that is valid and you don't owe me anything. I've learned that my words hold a lot of weight and I should be more responsible on my platform. For the last several years, I've tried to use my platform knowing this and always trying to put my best foot forward for my fans and the greater Smash community. I have grown a lot since I entered the scene in 2005, and I have plenty of people in my personal life and in Smash to thank for that. I know sometimes it takes people telling you that something you did was wrong in order for you to change, and I really want to be that for others. So thank you to those people in my life and the people on social media who call me out and want me to be better. I don't doubt that I will be imperfect in the future, but I will hold myself accountable and be as responsible as possible with my social media while still standing up for what I believe is right. Thank you for listening.